Call the meeting to order.
Jenkins,
Here.
Martin,
Here.
Vaughn,
Here.
McKinley, Pearl,
Here.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have no public comments given to me, so we move to section 1, consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll second.
Call it.
Jenkins,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
McKinley,
Yes.
Pearl,
Yes.
motion carries.
With no unfinished business, we move to section 3, new business.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2013-30, the intergovernmental agreement between the City of Farmer City and the Blue Ridge School District for the services of a school resource officer.
Discussion.
Is this gonna be,
Hold on, before we discuss it, Larry.
The chief and the superintendent of schools had some discussion today, and the chief has asked that this be tabled for this meeting and brought up at the next meeting. They're trying to get some questions answered to the Pike County Sheriff's Department and make sure that everything is good to go before it goes before this board for a vote and before the school board. So they're asking that this be tabled tonight.
so move to table?
Second.
Call it.
Vaughn,
Yes.
McKinley,
Yes.
Pearl,
Yes.
Jenkins,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
motion carries.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 927, amending electrical ordinance 52.09, discontinuance and reconnection of service, use of the collection service.
Second.
Discussion.
I don't have one.
We just had it.
I don't think it is.
Maybe, you have one of those packets? You have one, you got?
Leave it on your shoulder.
I'll give you mine, but I don't have one.
Unless we just have it on the table.
So this is what we talked about putting the.
If you look in our city code, nowhere in there does it give the city hall personnel the authorization to use a collection agency as a means of settling up on past due accounts. So basically, that's why there's so many old accounts that's on the books. People just, they can move to a different location here in town, they can start an account under a different name or whatever. This will give us the authority to, there again, get in contact with the collection agency, which we do have one that we've already been in contact with, and we can submit a list to them. Keep in mind, we still give people extra time to pay on their accounts. I mean, we really work with people in here. But when you have $1,000 on accounts, 500, 600, and they'll leave town for a while and then come back and plead mercy on the court like they've done in here before. So we just need another method of being able to. Yes.
I believe it are 2 building cycles.
Well, everything in the book is set up on 3 billing cycles, and so that's why we just kept it all the same, Willard. There's different, what else in there? Remember, Sandy, because we looked at that, and everything was based on 3 billing cycles, so we just... You can get 2 extensions is one of the things. So if you're...
Well, yeah, they
granted
get
2
extended, they pay something, they get extended, you know, and, do we have in there how much they have to pay, or is it just, there's no set, they
The
have to pay half the bill?
minimum is $60, if all they have is $60 on the books, is that correct? Then it won't be disconnected,
So they gotta pay a minimum of 60,
well, down to 60.
down,
We'll...
pay it down to 60 for
Correct, we'll carry the $60, so.
a while.
Till the 10th of the following month, that's all their agreement is good for.
the problem really that we have. It's not people that stay here in town, it's the people that take off.
Any other discussion? Call it.
McKinley,
Yes.
Pearl,
Yes.
Jenkins.
Yep.
Harden,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
motion carried.
Move to go into executive session for personnel to discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, and/or performance of specific employees pursuant to Section 2C1 of the Open Meetings Act, 5 ILCS 102/2C1.
Call it.
Pearl,
Yes.
Jenkins,
Yes.
Harden,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
McKinley,
Yes.
motion carries.
We're now in executive session, which moves us to other items. City manager and his report.
Just a couple things there real quick, is that there's been some discussion on Facebook, and there's been discussion in here before, so I'm trying to see if I can't get some type of a DNR grant to get a pedestrian bridge built across Salt Creek. DNR does have programs that will partially fund or fully fund that. The hope is that we can come up with enough to construct part of the sidewalk. We might have to use city funds as well. Have a sidewalk on the west side of South Main Street, and then a pedestrian bridge over there. So I'm working on that, just kind of getting started on that. But the deadline to have that paperwork turned in is in March. State of Illinois has released some federal funds down through the Illinois Department of Transportation, and it's a one-time deal. They're saying that, according to the letter, that we should see an influx of another 18% in our MFT funds. It's a one-time deal to help work on some roads. And you see that, generally speaking, we usually receive about $57,000, so another influx of some cash. Might allow us to get some-
18% above 50, 18% of 57,000 above that,
We should see an additional 18%.
so about another 10,000.
We normally, we've received more. I think one year we received 69,000, but the 57 was a good estimate for about the last 12 years. I had thrown out here a long time ago, or several months ago, about the slough, and then there were some issues on cleaning out the slough, so I guess I wanted to give a little feedback. I had said that had come to a sudden stop, and DNR was wanting more information. So, as you see there, they're wanting section view drawings showing the channel dimensions and side slopes before and after the project, details of transitions of the existing channel section. So, my question to you gentlemen, do you want to spend the money to have that thing engineered, because that's what it's going to take before we get a DNR permit, so we can get that area cleaned out?
What area are we talking about?
That would be from the John Street Bridge back to the Canadian National Railroad trestle. I don't really have an idea, but just seeing how some other engineering fees have come in, I'm going to tell you it's going to be at least $3,000 to have that engineered. The farmers have said that they'll pay half of the $16,000 to have it dredged, so that puts it down to $8,000 to be divvied up between whoever's interested. That could include the city, the school, ADM, some of the residents down through there. So it's just a matter of kind of like a little feedback, because the residents continue to call and want to know why the city hasn't done anything. And I told them that it didn't start out as a city project. So
It's not city-owned, it's not a drainage district,
that's correct.
it's theirs.
It's private property, you are right.
And the other thing is, can we look at doing a drainage district through town to me, because that could take in more than just what goes through town, it could take in what comes up from the northwest and everything, because that's where our water's coming from and everything. I would think that,
It's possible.
I don't know how you go about doing that. I know it has to be on the, we have to put it on the ballot and everything. We could put it on, we could be the ones that put it on the ballot and everything for a vote.
Rob Keenan's on the Trinkle Slough Drainage District, I could ask him.
Yeah,
Have all the residents down there approved of getting it done?
Yes, they all want it done. 2 residents have pledged $1,000 each out of their own back pockets.
I'm not real in favor of the residents. This is something I think the city, the township, county, whoever, they may own ground. I've always heard that nobody owns water. I mean, it's a
you don't to the
natural.
middle, you don't to the middle because it's their property.
But anyway,
And I did, when you say township, I did include the township. I had told Betty Kent that, you know, that we would be doing this and we'd be seeking some type of donation from them as well. So she was open to that, so that would include the township to help offset some costs.
But if we did a drainage district, it could go and it could take more of it and it'd be a better overall, where it would take all the way through town and all the way out. Because you're gonna go out to, you know, out to the.
Salt Creek?
Yeah, to Salt
but
Creek.
that's why the farmers want it. I mean, I don't blame them. They need to get rid of that water.
Right.
Well, the best thing that ever happened to the town as far as taking the water away from here is the West Side Drainage Project. Things have changed so much. I can't tell you, you people who've not lived here all your life or too young to remember, I mean, it has made a tremendous difference in this town. The water just doesn't come down through that creek like it used to.
Right. Don't need a John boat anymore.
Can't float down an inner tube anymore like it used to. Nope.
So I need a little input though. Do I proceed with that?
I think we need that. I've always thought we needed to get it cleaned out.
Well, I'm in total agreement with cleaning out, but that's what we gotta do with the DNR. We really don't have no choice.
But I want you to look into about doing a drainage district.
Okay.
It's gonna take.
Yeah, I can check on that. Okay. We have a contractor, we'd had some discussion before. The cemetery lift station has the original equipment in as far as the mercury bubblers that control those pumps that go and turn on and shut down, and they're not properly shutting down when they're supposed to. That's the original equipment. Those were put in the 50s. You see that that's going to come in at $12,500 to get that done. That is something that was budgeted for. They're supposed to be here. Actually, they're supposed to be in here today. I don't know if they showed up or not. There was supposed to be a presentation tonight that got tabled, and there's been some discussion in City Hall, and just like tonight, there was not a lot on the agenda. On an annual basis, the city clerk has to announce when the council meetings will be. Historically, during the months of December, January, and February, there's not a lot of outside projects going on. There's just not a lot of work pertaining with the city. And so it was thought of maybe you just have one meeting during those months. So we went a little discussion about that. So if that was the case, when she presented the resolution during the month of December, she could note that properly. So she was requesting a little feedback on that.
We can do this, and you just cancel the other ones. You have to make it official, say we cancel, since we're set up in our general orders, they have to a month, so you'd have to say the other one's canceled.
And that when I do the other calendar, yes.
And if there's a have to, we can call one.
Within 48 hours.
I like the 2.
I like the one. I like the 12 months out of the year, quite honestly.
I like
The school meets how much, once
once a month.
a month.
Yeah, I think it's good.
Let's send another one for tomorrow.
Being on the summer, you've got road work, you've got all kinds of projects going on, and so there's a need every 2 weeks to be brought up to speed on
When's our budget get looked at
when does it get looked at.
and they get approved in April?
We'll be,
So we're looking at it in January and February.
late March.
Your guys, your thoughts?
I'm okay with that on the December, January period.
It would be brought up at the, which meeting, the final one in December, you would bring us the schedule? So we,
So
so
you approve the schedule then?
we'd approve it then?
I don't think you know.
I say move, I say we say move on that. Any questions to the city manager and his report?
One last thing, street guys have been kind of busy. In the last month, they've replaced repaired 5 broken water mains. So I gave you the light plant, Rick Rose gave me a copy of what they're doing. I left a copy of that on your desk, and I think the police chief gave you a rundown of what they've been doing.
Any other non-agenda items or other business?
I have a couple. Asphalt looks good on Main. Thank you for bringing that down. Question on the crossing guard area over out in front of the Schneider. When it rains a lot, it puddles up. Is there any possibility for? It's not as bad when it's warm, but when it gets cold, it turns to ice and you get kids that. So just wanted to know if there's any opportunity to improve that.
There was, and I know the mayor and I, we talked about it one day as we were sitting there getting our shoes wet, standing in the water. But there was some talk about putting a catch basin on that corner and hooking it in with the additional catch basins. After I said that maybe we could do that, I found that you can't hook a catch basin into a catch basin, that's an EPA thing. So, but we've thought about what we can do there. The whole area is just kind of low. And part of that's because it's been dug up, that fire hydrant sitting there, so I know it's a problem.
Okay.
They've done the spray patch there before to try to build up part of the street, and so.
Okay.
I don't really know what the good answer is yet.
All right.
Yeah,
Keep
generally,
working.
they add rock. That's what they normally do, just add a bunch of rock every time, and then you can see about adding some more rock there too. The problem is the kids are just setting up.
The kids like it.
Did the,
Something's nice.
did the playground equipment come in there?
No.
Not yet? Anyone else have any other non-agenda, did you have anything else?
No.
All right, anything else? Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Call it.
Arden,
Yes.
Han,
Yes.
McKinley, Earl, Jenkins.
Yes.
Motion carries.